All right, what's up, Tribe? How you doing? This is Adam with Warrior Tribe Tactical, and I have a kind of fun gun today. A lot of people have been telling me, hey, you gotta put your hands on one of these at least once in your life, shoot it. And I finally came across one from Poppy's Gun and Pawn in Salisbury, North Carolina, and they had it, so I borrowed it, and it's the High Point C9. Interesting gun. You know, I've seen them all the time, and I've seen 1,000 reviews on them, but you know, I had to do my piece, right? I had to come out and try it, and since they let me borrow it, I took it for a ride, and I take it to the range and shoot it a little bit. So let's watch that and then come back and talk about it. High Point. One malfunction. So the High Point at 10, 15, and 20, all hits. Go High Point. All right, Tribe, so the High Point C9, got it right here. Got to see us shoot it. It's interesting. This is an interesting gun, and it's a super budget gun. So, you know, the purpose of this thing is for self-protection, and I get it. I'm not trying to mock it. If someone's using this to protect themselves, you know, and this is what you can come up with to get the money, you know, for the price. Hey, I'm not mocking it. You gotta protect yourself. I get it. The High Point C9 comes in a couple different calibers: 380, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45, and like I said, this one's in 9mm. It's a bulky gun. It's pretty heavy and pretty odd shaped. Almost reminds me of a moon gun. You know, I'm expecting the new Space Force to come out and say, we found our sidearm. This is it. It's a straight up moon gun, okay? But it's a gun, all right? So it's fun to shoot anyways. I had fun shooting it. Let's see, the weight of this is 29 ounces. The length is 6.75 inches, okay? And then the barrel length is 3.5 inches on that. And this is a tough guy to get back and stuff, so I put that in and get that back. It's a tough one. So that barrel, and it's also, the barrel is fixed in there, so you can't remove the barrel. It's on there. I'm not going to take this apart because, to tell you the truth, I'm not fully understanding how to. I know there's a little pin back here that you gotta remove and everything like that. I'll YouTube it because I gotta clean this for the guys, right? I ended up borrowing it from Poppy's Gun and Pawn, like I said, in Salisbury, North Carolina, so thanks to them. Let me go out and have fun with a High Point. Never got to shoot it, so here we are, right? The capacity on this is 8+1, all right? And they do have extended mags, so I believe they go up to 10. It's a single stack, so 8+1, but can go up to 10+1. You know, my first thoughts, like I said, it's bulky, pretty brickish. Not super comfortable. The frame, I think, is what really throws me off, but let's get into that, okay? So the sights are okay. The rear sight is, the windage is adjustable, so you can move that back and forth, right, left, to pick up your windage where you need it. If you notice on these sights, it might be hard to see, they're painted, and you can really tell it didn't really do a great paint job on it, but orange in the back, yellow in the front. And I gotta tell you, it was easy to pick up. You know, I found my target fine through it, and you can put it on target, no problem. The slide is just huge and bulky. All right, it's huge and bulky. I almost dropped it right there holding it. And there's really no room. If you're a thumbs forward guy or girl, when you shoot, that slide is all the way up. So getting a thumbs forward grip is difficult because you can hinder the slide when you put pressure on that. So what I found is I had to kind of redo my normal grip and come under that slide because it is so bulky. That whole thing just moves as one. It's giant. It really threw me off. And then it was odd, and I had to, like I said, change my grip for it. But you know, it's a high point, right? The grip on this is okay. It's okay for comfort, but it's very slick. There's really nothing on there as far as grippage to really hold your hand in place. So if your hand was wet or sweaty, you're really not gonna hold that too well. It's gonna be slippery. They do have some, you know, textured grooves in the back and the front, but they're just as slick. It's just kind of like a plastic. It doesn't even really feel like polymer. I'm really not sure what it is, but it just feels like regular plastic to me. So the grip, comfortable, but you know, I would want to do something. I'd want to throw some Talon grips on it or something if they even make them for a high point. They make them for everything else, so maybe. Let's see, the safety is pretty odd and kind of dorky. So you know, getting it with your thumb is not a problem, but it is, like I said, with that slippery grip, and then the safety's pretty much pushed in there. It's just a little lever that goes up and down, but it's pretty cheap safe. Selector switch, I didn't like it. It's just a piece of bent metal, really. So, you know, I get that where they're making the cuts on manufacturing to bring it in at the price point that you can buy it at. Let's see, the mag release. The mag release is fine. It's in a normal spot. Sticks out just enough. Easy release. Okay, so nothing wrong with that mag release. When we get into the trigger, all right, the trigger is interesting because let's get that back, and there is no slide lock, slide release on this, so that's another thing that was a no-go with me. But that trigger, it's about an 8-pound pull, right? And just so you know, it has a mag disconnect, so that has to be in there. So it's about an 8-pound pull coming back, and then it just jumps at you. So not a terrible break, but it's a hefty pull on that. The reset wasn't too bad. You know, you can get shots on target pretty quick. The only thing I didn't like, there's a lot of wiggle in this trigger. And then if you look up here, see a little pin right there? That's what the trigger's on. That's what it rotates on. So it's an odd pull back. You know, it almost looks like a 1911 trigger, but doesn't feel like one at all. It's not a very comfortable pull back, and like I said, it's about 8-pound trigger, which isn't terrible, but you know you're trying to do something there. Let me show you that again. So the trigger coming down, and then that quick break, and then it's a little goofy because it is so wiggly. So I tended to put more finger on it to try to keep that thing steady. But you know, you work with it. I probably won't be able to show this on here, but the barrel looks like it was straight up brush painted. All right, straight up brush painted in there. So, and then it's just got a little stencil, a 9mm on there. It does have what is that? A cocked, let me try that again. So, other than that, it's a difficult gun to really work. But, like I said, if this is what you can afford and it's in a pinch, I get it. So, We talked about the mag disconnect. The gun, like we said, is hard to charge. All right, it's very hard to charge, but you know, it can be done with some oomph and a little bit of elbow grease. And then the slide is a mixture of some zinc mix. So it's not polymer, it's not plastic or anything. It's just a zinc mix. And you know, you can see every little dent in there that you get on it or whatever. It shows pretty good. And it's got a kind of a coarse feel to it. So, you know, it's just something to think about if you're buying it. Maybe you're aesthetically, maybe you're into the aesthetics of a gun. High point might not be up your alley. Let's see, the accuracy of this gun, I went from 10, 15, and 20 yards, and I hit a target. I put a 5x8 index card up, and you know, it hit the target at where I was aiming. Pretty good groups too. So finding the sights, getting that sight picture and putting it on was not a problem. Like I said, you have to pay attention to that trigger because it wants to wobble on you. And then it's just you know, you're pulling it with that 8-pound trigger, and then it just goes. It just goes. And like I said, the reset wasn't terrible. The hardest thing is my grip on it, because you have to change that grip because you can't get up here where you normally can still be on the frame. That slide takes up the whole thing. That big old moon gun right there. So the accuracy was fine. These magazines that it comes with, they feel cheap. They feel pretty cheap. And you know, firing, I shot probably what, 100 something rounds through this thing, and we had a lot of malfunctions, probably about 8 or 9. So I believe it was because of the magazines. All right, they're interesting to load because you'll see your rounds kind of doing a nosedive on it, and so most of the malfunctions were feeding malfunctions. All right, so they were feeding problems out of the magazine because, like I said, your rounds, they come in, you gotta pay close attention. Basically, every round you put in, you gotta pop that magazine, make sure that they're still up towards that ramp so they can feed. Because after a couple rounds, it was always like the second or third round that would do it was kind of nose diving, so it wouldn't feed. But other than that, magazine's pretty chintzy, pretty cheap. And like I said, I get it. It's a super budget gun, okay? Functionality, again, the malfunctions. The gun shot fine when it fed, all right? It went off every time when the rounds fed into it. Other than that, the magazine, I believe, was the problem. What does this joker cost? Anywhere from $150 to $175, all right? So you're getting what you pay for, okay? Now, granted, this gun, if you needed it, may save your life. So if this is all you can afford, and not mocking anything, but if this is like what your budget can afford, maybe guys. I'd rather have one round go off than you know, not have anything. And if you pay attention to how you load it and make sure that this thing is loaded correctly, I think you get a string of rounds off before it would malfunction. And maybe it was just the magazines I had. All right, maybe it was just the magazines I had. And from looking at this gun, looking it up, trying to find out everything on it, it sounds like High Point has great customer service. So, you know, something to take a look at also. I mean, if you're having malfunctions and High Point will correct that, cool, you know. So, guys, the High Point Model C9 in 9mm is what I was using. I wouldn't trust it really with my life, but if this is all I could get my hands on, you know, I'd take a chance with it. So, you know, it is what it is, guys. And I know High Points have been getting beat up on and everything, but and I was trying to give it a fair assessment. It's a tough gun to really throw accolades at, just being honest with you, but I get the price point, guys. All right, so hey, we provide purpose, direction, motivation. Thank you for watching, guys. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Warrior Tribe Tactical, and check out our training site at warriortribetactical.com. Come and get that training. Everyone needs it. A lot of guns out there, a lot of new gun owners. So come check us out. Thank you for watching. All right, so pay attention, tribe. This is important. Nice gun. This is a nice gun. My partner Mark and business partner